Hey everyone, this is Aradhya Ramakrishna, and I'm here with another brand new topic, that is cell and cell diversity. So anyways, I've got a diagram of an animal cell here, but we are also going to learn about plant cells as well as animal cells. I've just got an animal cell right now here. Let's get started directly. Living things are made up of tiny living compartments called cells, and these cells may vary a lot. In some organisms only have one cell. These organisms are known as unicellular organisms, while most of the plant and animals like normal trees that you see every day and us as human beings have billions of cells, and some other animals, well, lots of other animals and plants basically are multicellular organisms, since we have more than one cell, like billions of cells we've got. Cells in multicellular organisms are of many different types, and the same kinds of cells which are in groups, many cells together form a tissue. For example, the muscle tissue, and many tissues together form an organ such as the stomach, and many organs together form a system such as the digestive system that probably everyone is familiar with. Moving on, unicellular organisms are organisms that only have one cell. Basically, unicellular organisms are also known as microscopic organisms, since they can only be seen with the help of a microscope. Examples of unicellular organisms include bacteria, amoeba, paramecium, and many others. The discovery of the cell was made by Robert Hooke. He was an English scientist, and he discovered the cell in 1665, and basically he observed the cells. He observed a few cells under his microscope, and he basically named them cells. Moving on, let's directly get to the parts of the cell. Cells basically are made up of many different parts. Many cells are similar, but the cells themselves are made up of different parts. Some of the common organelles in cells include the cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus. The cells also have a mass of living matter called protoplasm. Well, basically, the cell membrane surrounds the cytoplasm, enclosing the nucleus, forming the protoplasm. Proto means first, and plasm means first form. Protoplasm is basically, in other words, it consists of the cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus together. So let's learn about these three common features of the cell in a bit more detail. So the cell membrane is basically, it's like a sort of wall surrounding the cell. It protects the cell, it gives the cell a shape, and the cell membrane has tiny holes in it with which it allows substances to go into the cell and go out of the cell. Basically, we've also got cell wall. Well, okay, I didn't mention cell wall before, but this cell wall is present only in animal cells, so you wouldn't see this in the diagram here. So anyways,
cell wall.
Wait, okay, this cell wall is present only in plant cells, so you wouldn't basically see this in the diagram here. Anyways, the cell wall is made up of a mass of a stiff non-living material called Nucleolus, and so the cell wall also performs many functions. Well, basically, it's like another wall surrounding the plant cell. Well, don't worry, cell membrane, you've done a lot too. The cell wall is just an extra covering, and it's basically like extra protection. It also provides the cell with rigidity, and basically. Moving on, the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the mass of jelly-like structure that occupies most of the cell, most of the place in the cell. It basically occupies the space between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Basically, many of the life functions take place in the cytoplasm. There are many organelles in the cytoplasm that perform all these life functions. Each one of the organelles in the cell is responsible for a certain task or tasks, which we are going to learn about in a bit. But first of all, let's just learn about the cytoplasm. But I think we're done with the cytoplasm. Moving on, let's learn about the nucleus. The nucleus basically is the boss of the cell, or the mind of the cell. or the brain of the cell, whatever you want to call it. It's just like the head, like the principal in your school. He controls everything going on in your school. Just like that, the nucleus controls everything going on in the cell. Excuse me. Right. The nucleus is made up of 4 parts. Well, it has 4 parts: the nuclear membrane, the nuclear sap or the nucleoplasm, and the nucleolus and the chromatin network. So basically, the nuclear membrane is just like the cell membrane. It basically protects the cell. The nuclear membrane, just like the cell membrane, has tiny holes in it which allow it to exchange substances between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. And so yeah, the nuclear sap or nucleoplasm, whatever you want to call it, we're just going to refer to this as nucleoplasm for now. So yeah, the nucleoplasm is basically a jelly-like substance in the nucleus, and in the nucleoplasm, the nucleolus and the chromatin network are present in the nucleoplasm. So moving on, what is the nucleolus? The nucleolus is basically something that is present in the cell, and the chromatin network is also present in the nucleoplasm. The chromatin network gives rise to small structures called chromosomes during the time of cell divisions, and these chromosomes can only be seen during the time of cell division. Now, there are many functions that the nucleus performs. For example, transmission of characteristics from one generation to another, and also it controls basically everything that happens in the cell. So yeah, didn't I say that the cell, there are many organelles in the cytoplasm? So right now we are going to learn about those organelles. These organelles, we've got many organelles on our list, like mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum, chloroplasts, centrosomes, lysosomes, ribosomes, vacuoles, and many others. So let's just learn about them in a little detail. So right now here we've got the animal cell right now. So first of all, we've learned about the cytoplasm, and we've learned about the nucleus, nuclear membrane, and yeah, basically I don't think I've written nucleoplasm here, but anyways, you all know about nucleoplasm. Anyways, so basically let's learn about the mitochondria. The mitochondria, I've drawn the mitochondria here. The mitochondria is basically the powerhouse of the cell. It is they are small rod-shaped organelles. The small rod-shaped organelles with double membranes, and the inner membrane and the outer membrane. The inner membrane is enfolded into finger-like structures. So yeah, basically, and the mitochondria provides the cell with energy. Now we have the endoplasmic reticulum. Did I write the endoplasmic reticulum here? Probably not. Anyways, we have the endoplasmic reticulum, also known as ER in short. So the endoplasmic reticulum is a sort of network of membranes, and being a network of membranes, it performs many functions. It has its own functions and uses, and this there are also ribosomes. These are also cell organelles, which we are going to learn about. But these ribosomes are usually found freely wandering in the cytoplasm or attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, and presence of ribosomes make it rough ER, and absence of ribosomes make it smooth ER. So yeah. And we've also got chloroplasts on our list. Chloroplasts you won't see here because that chloroplasts are only present in plant cells. Chloroplasts are also known as the kitchen of the plant cells. They contain basically it's a large oval structure, and there is stomata in there, and stomata contains granium, and granium contains chlorophyll, which helps in food manufacture. So basically this is the kitchen of the plant cell, and it basically provides food for the plant cell by a process called photosynthesis, which you are all probably familiar with. Moving on, we've got Golgi complex or Golgi body here. Okay, great. I even forgot to name the Golgi body here. Anyways, the Golgi body is also cell organelle, and then we've also got ribosomes on our list. Ribosomes are tiny membraneless granules that may occur wandering freely in the cytoplasm, like I've got no work to do, or attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, like responsible ribosomes. Anyways, that's what I like to call them. Anyways, we've also got lysosomes on our list. Lysosomes are also basically nicknamed suicide bags, and lysosomes contain many enzymes that are capable of digesting many materials, and I've sort of named a ribosome, and this is a lysosome, well, according to my drawing. We've also got centrosomes, and centrosomes are basically centrosomes are concerned with cell division, and basically there are two tiny granules called centrioles present in the centrosomes. Where are the centrosomes? Yes, these are the centrosomes. There are two tiny granules called centrioles present in it, and the centrosomes are responsible for cell division. Moving on, we've also got vacuoles on our list. Vacuoles are present in animal cells, and they are not present vacuoles are present in plant cells, and if present in animal cells, they're smaller in size and lesser in number. If present in plant cells, they are larger in size and more in number, basically. So basically, due to all the functions that the cell performs, basically some unwanted materials sort of gather up, and the vacuoles all collect these, and basically, and these are present in plant cells. Moving on, we've learned about the common features in cells, both in plant cells and animal cells. But however, this does not mean that all cells are actually alike, as in twins. They're not exactly alike. Common features like the nucleus, cytoplasm, and a cell membrane are present in all cells virtually. However, the size, the number of cells in an organism, and the structure and the contents vary a lot, actually. So let's learn about these. So basically, the cell is very different, and the number of cells in an organism also varies. Well, when we come to unicellular organisms only have one cell, and this one cell takes care of everything like respiration, excretion, growth, reproduction, everything. But in multicellular organisms, there are many cells, billions and billions and billions of cells, so not all cells don't do all the work. So basically the work is divided into categories, and there are categories of cells, and this division and feature of multicellular organisms is known as division of labor. Moving on, the number of cells, as I told you, in an organism vary a lot. So basically, in multicellular organisms, there are billions and billions of cells, and these may vary in types. Some multicellular organisms might only have a few cells, as in some algae, to a few hundred, as in some other algae, to many billions, as in most plants and animals today, like us humans and other plants and animals. So the cell number also varies a lot along with the cell size. So basically, cells also vary in size, apparently, and the largest known cell is that of an ostrich egg. That is the largest known cell, and the smallest known cell is that of a bacterium PPLO, and this bacterium it weighs about in about 0.1 to 0.5 micrometers in microns, that is micrometers in length. So what are micrometers? One micrometer is basically 1,000th of a millimeter. So that's incredibly tiny. Basically. So moving on, the cell structure also varies a lot, like the cell's shape. Some cells like amobia or white blood cells or cheek cells are irregular in shape. These cells change their shape constantly. So yeah, they basically have an irregular shape, they change their shape constantly. So yeah, they have an irregular shape. However, most cells maintain a constant shape throughout their lifetime. So yeah, basically cells are also now let's learn about cell division. Now, one of the interesting capacities of human beings is the ability to reproduce. Cells do so. In unicellular organisms, cells reproduce, and they reproduce by a process called cell division. Cell division. So yeah, basically this division starts with the nucleus of the mother cell splitting into two, and this is followed by the division of the cytoplasm, and then finally the two daughter cells are formed. This process of reproduction is well exhibited in amobia, that is a unicellular organism. However, in multicellular organisms, cells don't just reproduce for the process. Cells don't just divide for the cause of reproduction. They also divide for the organism growing itself. And yeah, basically, because as human beings grow, they grow, and this is because the cells grow in number. And yeah, so yeah, so basically here, while plants grow all throughout their life, animals grow to a certain extent and then stop growing. There are two types of processes that cell division in most organisms is basically of two types, that is mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is basically the process that happens in normal cells of the body, and meiosis is the process that takes place in reproductive parts of the body. It's a common observation to notice that a child has a few features of their mother and a few features of their father. This is a common observation, and this is the meiotic division, which is responsible for all these, which is responsible for the inheritance of characters from one generation to another generation, and etc. So basically that's probably everything that I'm going to tell you today. So that's it for today. Until next time, I'm Radhi. I'll see you in the next video.